Every spring, gardeners walk into a garden center and spend $30 to $75 on seed packets. The same varieties they grew last year, the same tomatoes, the same beans, the same lettuce. They buy them again because that is what gardeners do. Seeds are treated like an annual expense, just another cost of growing food. But here is what most gardeners do not realize. Every tomato you harvested last summer contained enough seeds to grow dozens of plants this year. Every pepper held over 100 seeds inside it. Every bean pod contained next season's planting. Every lettuce plant you let bolt produced thousands of seeds, more than you could use in years. The seeds for next year's garden are already inside this year's harvest. You are buying something you already have. I spent well over $100 on seeds during my first few seasons before I learned how to save them properly. By my third year, my total seed purchase was barely more than $10, and most of that was simply experimenting with a new variety. Everything else came from the previous year's harvest. That was years ago, and I have never gone back. My seed bank grows larger every season, my gardening costs stay near zero, and something unexpected happened along the way. The plants themselves got better. In this video, I'm going to show you the simple seed-saving system that gives you free food forever, the one rule that determines whether saved seeds will work, and the compounding effect that makes your garden stronger every year you use it. Stay to the end, because that compounding effect is the real reason to save seeds, and almost nobody talks about it. Before you save a single seed, you need to understand one rule that determines whether seed saving succeeds or fails. The rule is open-pollinated versus hybrid varieties. Open-pollinated varieties, often called heirlooms, produce seeds that grow into plants identical to the parent. Save seeds from an open-pollinated brandywine tomato, and next year you get brandywine tomatoes again. The genetics are stable, and they reproduce true to type generation after generation. Hybrid varieties, usually marked F1 on the seed packet, are different. They are created by crossing two separate parent plants. Their offspring do not reliably reproduce the same characteristics. You might get something similar, something completely different, or something that performs poorly. This is why many gardeners think seed saving does not work. They unknowingly save seeds from a hybrid variety and get disappointing results the following season, and they conclude that seed saving is unreliable. It is not unreliable. They saved from the wrong type of plant. The solution is simple. Check the seed packet or catalog when you buy. If it says open-pollinated, heirloom, or OP, you can save from it indefinitely. If it says F1 or hybrid, buy that one fresh each year and save from your open-pollinated varieties instead. Once you understand that single rule, seed saving becomes incredibly straightforward. Tomatoes are one of the best crops to start with because tomato seeds are expensive to buy, and one fruit produces enough for dozens of plants. Choose your best performing tomato, the healthiest plant with the best fruit, and let one or two fruits ripen fully on the vine until they are slightly overripe. Scoop out the seeds and surrounding gel into a small jar, add an inch of water, and let it sit at room temperature for 2 to 3 days. The mixture will ferment and develop a thin layer of mold on top. That fermentation breaks down the gel coating that inhibits germination. After 2 to 3 days, pour off the mold and floating debris, rinse the seeds in a strainer, and spread them on a plate to dry for about a week. Store in a sealed envelope or jar in a cool, dry, dark place, viable for 4 to 6 years. Peppers are even easier. Let one pepper on your best plant ripen fully, past the eating stage until it is deeply colored and slightly soft. Cut it open, scrape the seeds out, and spread them on a plate to dry for 1 to 2 weeks. No fermentation needed. One pepper produces 100 or more seeds, viable for 2 to 4 years. Beans and peas require almost no work at all. Instead of picking the pods for eating, leave 6 to 10 pods on your best plant until they dry completely on the vine. The pods will turn brown and papery, and you will hear the seeds rattle inside when you shake them. Pick the dried pods, shell the seeds, and store. That is it. No processing, no fermentation, no drying time beyond what the plant already did for you. Viable for 3 to 4 years. A handful of dried pods gives you next season's entire bean or pea planting. Lettuce is another powerful seed-saving crop that most gardeners waste without realizing it. Instead of pulling every bolted plant, allow one to flower and set seed. It sends up a tall stalk and produces fluffy seed heads that look like tiny dandelions. Wait until the seed heads are dry and feathery, then shake them into a paper bag. A single lettuce plant can produce hundreds to thousands of seeds, more than you could plant in years, viable for 3 to 5 years. Cilantro and dill work the same way. Let a few plants go to flower and set seed. Cilantro seeds are coriander, which is a useful spice on its own. When the seed heads turn brown and dry, cut the stalk, hold it upside down over a bag, and shake. Both herbs reseed so aggressively that once you let a few plants go to seed in the garden, they often self-sow and come back the following spring without you doing anything. I have not planted cilantro or dill intentionally in 2 years. They just keep appearing from seeds dropped by last year's plants. Basil produces dozens of tiny black seeds from each flower stalk. Let a few stalks develop instead of pinching them all. Wait until they dry and turn brown, then shake into a container. Viable for 3 to 5 years. Radishes are another crop most gardeners never see seeds from because they harvest the roots before the plant flowers. Leave 2 or 3 radishes in the ground past harvest, and they will send up flower stalks, produce seed pods, and those pods dry on the plant. One radish plant produces enough seed for an entire season of succession sowings. Squash and cucumbers require one extra consideration: cross-pollination. Squash varieties cross easily, so a zucchini near a butternut can produce hybrid seeds. If you grow only one variety of each type, this is not an issue. Let one fruit mature fully past eating stage, scoop the seeds, rinse and dry for 1 to 2 weeks. Viable for 4 to 6 years. Store all seeds in sealed envelopes or jars in a cool, dry, dark closet. Most remain viable for 2 to 6 years depending on the crop, which means you build a multi-year reserve that protects you even if one season's harvest fails entirely. But the real power of seed saving is not the money you save. It is what happens after several generations. Every seed catalog grows its seed in a specific climate, with specific soil, weather patterns, and pest pressures, usually Oregon, California, or the Midwest. Those seeds are generally adaptable, but they are not optimized for your exact conditions. When you save seeds from your strongest plants, the tomato that handled heat best, the pepper that produced the most fruit, the lettuce that resisted bolting the longest, you are selecting genetics that succeeded specifically in your garden. Plant those seeds next year, and they are already slightly better adapted to your conditions than commercial seed stock. Save again from the best performers in that generation, and the adaptation deepens. After 3 to 5 years of saving from your strongest plants, you develop locally adapted seed stock that consistently outperforms commercial seeds in your specific garden. I have been saving tomato seeds for 3 seasons now. Each year the germination rate has improved. Each year the plants establish faster. Each year the overall vigor is noticeably stronger than when I was planting fresh commercial seeds. The garden is not just free to run, it is getting genetically better every year because I am selecting for success in my exact conditions. That is the compounding effect of seed saving. The cost goes to zero, the performance goes up, and the seed bank grows larger every season so that even a total crop failure in 1 year cannot set you back because you have multiple years of saved seed in reserve. That is what free food forever actually means. Not just eliminating an annual expense, but building a self-improving genetic library that makes your garden more productive with every generation. If you want to see how seed saving fits into the complete self-sustaining garden system, watch the Grow Food for Free video next. Seed saving is one of the 5 elements that eliminates annual gardening costs entirely.